day one, a violent vertical edge setter.
I see some gas on the hips. Get that mindset to put your shoulder on somebody. Dig, drop. You're finished. Hey, first down. This is weird. Get worse than that, sorry.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Look at all you fine feathered fellas and stuff. Any ladies? Do we have any ladies, or am I safe just saying fellas? I think fellas right now. Got Nalty's here, Salty Nuts Magoo, Bismo Charisma. What's up, buddy? Yeah, man, they were chatting. New York Jets Tails. Frankie's here. Watu K99's hanging out. Friggle D, Sneakers to Boots. What's up, guys? Gitmo Bob. No, and that's funny. Well, this wasn't the way I was gonna say it. Gonna start it, but bruh came into my live stream. What was it, Tuesday or something like that? I forget when it was. Maybe Saturday. Sell all your XRP. And I just didn't. I didn't have the mind space to really absorb it. But no, I did not sell my XRP. And now he's telling me to backtrack. So you got to be careful out there, right, bruh? You got to be careful, guys. You can't panic in this stuff because you never know what tomorrow will bring. So Brian Still is here. Aunt Jets is here. Gitmo Bob. Right on, man. You guys are the best. What's up, Mess? Green Dog. Yeah, I love you guys. And I'm happy to see you. Budster's here and Big Arms and Mo Lake. What's up, Mo Lake? New York Sports MC is hanging around. It's good to see you, buddy. Really. He's got the kids. He's got a busy life, but it's nice that you can peel off a little bit of time and hang out with us. So we have the Baker Mayfield-less Browns playing the Drew Lock-led Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater's back?
I think so, dude. He was on the sideline.
I didn't think Bridgewater was back. But so how's everybody doing? I want to introduce you guys. We have a couple guys hanging out in the back, and you guys know they hang out every week and they help us out. It's really cool. We're going to bring them on this morning or whatever this is. I'm clearly random and tired, and I don't feel all that well either. But we're going to say hello right in the morning, right from the beginning. Let's bring on Jeremy and Watu K99 himself. What are you guys doing? Watu K, how are you, buddy?
Oh, top of the morning to you, GreenBean. How you doing?
Right on, man. That's the thing. You got to just jump right in, right? There's a mistake-like joke going on. Swim in the pool. You know, that's how I think. You good, bud?
Yeah, doing good. I was just telling Jeremy a little bit earlier. Doesn't it feel like a month? It feels like forever since there was a game.
Dude,
the Jets.
It really does. I'm with you. I think it feels like a long time. Weeks. And by the time we'll play, it'll be 2 weeks into our game. Now, a lot of people don't know this. We have brought it up from time to time, but this very weekend, this Sunday against the Patriots, I am doing the live stream for Jetnation live on location from the Virginia Jetsfan Club. And that is an organization that you are the president of. What's that all about? I'm psyched, man. I can't wait to get down there with you.
It's going to be, as we say after every time the Jets have a big play, it's going to be huge.
It is, man. And you know what? I'm really hoping that we can actually have a good day together. You know what I mean? Can we just do that? Can they do that for us?
You know what? I can't guarantee an outcome of the game, but what I can guarantee is we are about more than just the game. You know, we are about, one of our shirts at Virginia Jets Fans actually says faith, family, football. And that's really what it is. I mean, we're about having community. We're about hanging out even when the games aren't going on, you know, having random conversations just to let off some steam or to talk about what we want to see this franchise do. It's not something where we just meet 16, 17 times a year just for a game. It's an all year round thing, and I think that's what makes the Virginia Jets fans so special. And you get to experience it this weekend. I can't wait.
You know, I love that. I sincerely do. It's like that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, you know, when I was growing up and I had my little pocket of Jets fan friends, that's what it was. You know, it was about the camaraderie. It was about getting together and hanging out and talking shop. And then the Jets would play and we'd lose, but it was still about the get together, the people, the time spent together, the enjoyment of the day, man. So I completely love that idea. And I'm so looking forward to it, man. If anybody's in Virginia or North Carolina or anywhere within a couple hours from the joint, I really think you guys should come. I'll put the address and stuff in the description of this video when we're done. But for good measure, why don't you go ahead and throw out the name of the place and where it is for everybody?
Okay, so we meet for every game. The exception was London because the game was so early. But we meet at AJ Gators. Now, there's a couple of locations. We meet at the one on Shore Drive in northwest Norfolk. So Shore Drive, which is the road that goes east to west across the north part of Norfolk and into Virginia Beach. So it's a great location. It works well for folks on both sides of the tunnel. Anybody who's been in Hampton Roads or Tidewater, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be fun. We have TVs for every game. The food's great. We have our own servers, our own corner with 8, 9, 10 tables. We will be having door prizes. We'll be having a 50-50. And we're going to have a regular raffle. So I got some raffle prizes here in my crib here in the, as I like to call it, the studio apartment.
Yeah.
And,
The studio.
yep. So we do premium raffles, regular raffles, and whatnot. So it's going to be regular raffle time. So come and you might win some pretty cool Jets merch.
That's it, man. See how could it be better than that? We're going to have a real good time. In my opinion, we're going to watch some real good football. Corey Davis was saying he can't tell us why, but the Jets are ready. That's what he said. So maybe we're going to see a complete resurgence of awesome New York Jets football. We'll be hanging out, family, friends, and football. Great food, our own designated servers with our own section, door prizes and raffles. Come on. I'm so happy I'm going. This is going to be awesome. So everybody out there, you are invited. If you would like to come down and spend the day rooting for the Jets with the Virginia Jets fan club, come on down. It was AC Gators or AJ Gators? AC?
AJ Gators. AJ.
There you go.
And don't you want to fly back from California? Don't you want to come back east? Tell me the truth.
I'm actually inspired to start the Sacramento, California, New York Jets fan club. And I have one buddy from the Bronx who's a Jets fan. So I got one person, my wife by default, because she never wants them to lose because it always endangers like the TV because I might break it. So that's two people right there in the fan club.
There you go, man. And you know what's real funny is that you might look it up to see and about where you could go, and you'll find out that there already is one. California has a lot of Jets fan clubs, so maybe you just have to show up. Maybe you don't have to create it. Wouldn't that be nice?
Right.
But so that brings us to you. Let's say hello to Jeremy Cravat, the chaos in the Chaos and Calmness show on Frankie from Flatbush. And he is modeling the new Green Bean merch that can be found at GreenbeanJetsfan.com. That is the Ain't No Happenstance t-shirt inspired by the ridiculous garbage that I threw out on one Jets drive. Who knows what'll fly out of this face sometimes, but I think I did okay with the no happenstance thing, but you look good in that. How does the shirt feel? Is it a good shirt at least?
I like it. And we love that. You know, what's great about this shirt, and it always makes me happy because it's always a big issue. When me and my wife go to breweries and things like that, and we buy the brewery shirts, some of them, they don't offer the woman's version, like a woman's cut of the shirt.
Right.
And what I loved about when you go and get your merchandise, Green Bean, they have a women's cut, so I'm able to get one for my wife. And so she's got hers, and she's super happy with hers.
Is there any way that we could see what that looks like?
Honey, you willing to show off and model the women's cut of the shirt?
Oh my gosh, this is great! Look at this.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, I'm psyched. Hey, I love it.
Closer. Come a little
that.
closer.
I love it. Well, thank you, Jocelyn. Look how great you look in that. I love it.
He's saying thank you, and you look great in it, and he loves it. She can't hear.
Ask her, does
it?
ask her honestly, is it a decent shirt for her? Does she like it?
He's asking, honestly, is it a decent shirt for you? Do you like it?
Oh yeah, no, it's great. I like a nice gray t-shirt. I like Jeremy was saying, when they're usually I only have to get like a small men's shirt.
Right.
This is like, not
it's a lady's shirt. It's a lady's cut. That's right. Well, thank you for being willing to model that for us. I think it looks fantastic. I'm just touched. I'm honored that you guys chose to go get them, and then now you're actually showing everybody what it looks like. It's amazing. I appreciate it.
All right, he's very appreciative. that's my summarization of what you said.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's like, it's funny. Whenever people are translating for other people, I always think something like that goes on. They're like, "Look, I'm really appreciative." Blah blah blah. He says thanks. Like that's what I think's going on in translation. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but first and foremost, John Salty Magoo Nalty is saying, "What the F is happenstance? Tell us." So I'll take a shot. Is this an unfamiliar word? Do people not know what that means? Jeremy, you're a vice principal, so I imagine you know what that means. But
what happenstance means?
Yeah. You think
I think people that my interpretation of the way you met was that it wasn't by accident.
No coincidence.
We didn't just like I took it as we didn't all end up in this parking lot, thousands of us together, by just chance. Like this wasn't Field of Dreams where people would come and didn't know why they were coming.
That's exactly right. Happenstance means like by chance. Exactly. So well said. See, that's what, when you bring on educators, this is what happens. They give you educated answers. So,
and I work
but yeah,
myself. I work in education myself. So we got the whole thing going on here.
It's nice to know I'm the stupidest person on the entire stream. That's good. It's comforting for me. I'd say it's not up to me. If I need help, I just ask the two educated persons over here. But yeah, happenstance. Look, submission says no idea what is happenstance. Yeah, it ain't no happenstance. That's the crazy shit. I can't believe out of all the words, though, that's the word that flew out of my face when I had the Jets Drive crew cameras in front of me and Jetsfan. I go, this ain't no happenstance. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. So Zach Holmes says, I learned the definition of happenstance by happenstance just now. There you go. I like how you did that. That's funny. Right. Jets Forever says coincidence. Frankie from Flatbush says happenstance is random chance. It doesn't always have to rhyme, but that is Frank. He's good like that. He's another level, man. He's another level. So, yeah, look. Mitt Flair says happenstance is a real word or phrase. Yeah, it is. So it's funny. It's real. Now, I don't know if it's one of those words that like just, people made up and then so Webster's just stuck it in the dictionary or something like that. I don't know. But that's what it is. So we're going to talk about something important. Let's start with this. And then I want to remind the chat a couple of things. One is this is your show. Like I'm not even feeling all that well tonight. I know I'm trying to keep the energy. I don't even know if I can go 2 hours. I think I'm getting sick, which will suck, but I don't want that. But I'm not as sharp as maybe I usually am. So if you guys have questions, you have subjects that you want to talk about in the chat, this is yours, man. Throw them out there and I'll try to get to them for you. The other thing is, in the event you really want something you're going to say to be seen, you want to make sure that we don't skip. The super chat is always a way to do that. And I always appreciate when you guys do that. Think of it like a tip jar, like, hey man, here's a tip. That's how I see it. Whenever I give people super chats too. Sometimes when I'm on live streams, I watched this live stream about live from the Giza Plateau inside the pyramid. I give that guy fucking $5. And I'm like, yeah, man, look at him. Show me the inside of the pyramids. I'm in. So maybe one day I can do something like that. But in addition to that, if you want to support the show, my Patreon information is there as well in the top of the description. And that is always appreciated. I try to make it worth your while and make some extra content and give you stuff first and all that kind of stuff. But that brings me to the first topic. The topic is this. What do we think? We're all hearing this. Marcus Maye says, I don't want to be traded. I'm 100% Jets. So what the hell do we think this is? Let me ask Y2K, what do you think? What is this? Out of nowhere, he just says, no, I love the Jets. What do you think's going on here?
I was actually surprised to hear he was even doing a press conference. If I was his agent, I wouldn't want him talking to the media the rest of the season.
Interesting.
But I guess it's kind of unavoidable if he's coming back soon. I think he gave all the token answers, all the let me not create a bigger mess than my agent already did kind of answers. So, these press conferences, I can't take too much of what these guys say seriously. I mean, how much, is he really going to dangle a carrot in front of all our favorite guys, in front of Samini and Costello and all the guys that we love? So, to me, what I hear in a press conference, it goes in one ear and out the other. If he really wants to be a Jet, he can prove it by signing a reasonable contract. That's when I'll believe he really wants to be a Jet. No sooner than that.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. And I think I'm somewhere in the ballpark of where you are. Jeremy, what do you think? How do you see this? Marcus Maye, the big news of the day. Marcus Maye loves the Jets and always wants to end his career here. What's going on with this?
Well, I'm not going to pretend I know for sure, right? I mean, my first thing is that what it could be is he's a smart guy, and this might be damage control. It could be damage control. It's like here we were, and his agent put him in a really bad spot. Went very public, complaining about not getting a contract. Then it comes out that he was trying to get that contract, hiding this secret, and then this secret comes out right after the agent was like threatening, he'll be healthy by the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And I think a pretty smart guy says, a lot might be a red flag for a lot of GMs out there and how much they're willing to pay a player that's engaged in all that. So maybe if I'm a team guy right now and I say, no, I love the Jets, now I can make it, hopefully turn this into just a DUI mistake, right? This was a mistake. This is something that happened once. It's a one-time thing. I'm a safe guy. But it would be my guess is that it could be damage control, especially because he's a smart guy, and I could see him figuring that out and realizing that more than a lot of other players in the past. They just keep opening up their mouths and just throwing money away with their mouth.
Yep. I think this is really cool. I never realized before, like we're kind of placing a focus on how intelligent you two are tonight. And I got to say, I think you guys are given such a beautiful spectrum of what goes on. Like, I totally agree with Adam. I think these press conferences, 99% of what they're saying is stuff to be taught. It's just, it's team speak, it's player speak. It's like, it's supposed to be into a certain category and not cause too many waves and all that. But then on the other side, like Jeremy said, and I think this is pretty accurate as well, they were really, Marcus Maye didn't say anything about the bullshit that his agent was doing. And he was kind of okaying the stance because it's him. If he doesn't like it, he's got to tell his agent to stop. And obviously his agent wasn't stopping. So there's all that. But now with everything going on with the DUI and all that, I think, and I really do believe this, I think this is damage control. I think that this is a little bit of trying to, just as best you can with your words, to calm everything down. I'm still a team guy. I'm still the guy that they voted as the MVP last year. I'm still all those things. I'm not the troublemaker that threw up all over his car and hit a girl with my, that's not me. This is me. And I think there's a lot of that going on, man, because when you look at it, man, if we are going to get trade value for him, and he is going to go to a winner, and look, they got to be offering more than a 6th or 7th round pick, hopefully. And if he wants to get paid, who the hell's going to pay a guy injured, suspended, troublemaker, all those kinds of things? Who's going to pay that guy when they could just pay somebody else who doesn't bring all that bullshit? So I think you guys are on to something. Now, another guy who's on to something is Gitmo Bob. Gitmo Bob's comment, where did it go? I think this has some potential too. Gitmo Bob says, I think Maye probably heard he was going to be traded to Detroit. Yeah, he said, you know what? It can always be worse. I'm good. I'm good right here. Please forgive me. But I think that's really accurate, man. I'm real curious to look over the comments in the chat too, because as soon as I heard that, my son told me he gets the little alerts. For some reason, he gets them before I do. We have the same apps, but he gets them first. So he always gets to tell me what's going on. And he said, hey, Marcus Maye said he wants to be a Jet. I'm like, get out of here. What is that? And then I look at it, and here we are. Then I watch the press conference, and it seems to me, number one, the press, did you hear the questions? Would you welcome a trade? Like, there's just such fishing. I can't, these guys, they never cease to sicken me, honestly. Like, it's just, how transparent is it that you want to desperately get some sort of soundbite? Like, we all know you're doing it, but can you have some, please, some couth or some pride, please? So they're fishing, and Marcus Maye says, I'm 100% for the team. I love being here, all that kind of stuff. And my first thought was, now if he fired his agent, then we'd be on to something. Then we can talk. 2 years, $18.5 million. What do you guys think? 2 years, 18.5, 9.25 per. What are you guys doing? You doing that, Jeremy?
If he bounces back when he comes back, whatever happens with the suspensions, but if he keeps playing at a high quality level, I'd be for it. I still like, if he was willing to sign it, that means he likes that he does want to be a Jet, and then he's sincere, right? I don't know if Douglas would offer him that much, but I wouldn't be angry at it. I wouldn't say you're crazy to pay him that much. I think he's got too good. I think he's got, especially if he plays really well this year and this didn't distract him and throw him off. Yeah, I mean, he's a quality safety that takes care of that position. Why not?
Yeah. So that's right. So you're right. If he's can still play, then right, that's fine. What do you think, Adam?
2 years.
2K.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, I'll go either way. 2 years, 18 million. I'm good. I'm assuming that contract is fully guaranteed, because it's always about the guaranteed money with these NFL contracts. That's one thing we can't forget. But if I'm Marcus Maye, I don't think I'm taking a 2-year contract, realistically. I feel, if I'm Marcus Maye, I'm coming into my prime. I'm in, how old is Maye? 27-ish, right around there?
20, he's going to be 29. He's 29.
He's 29.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
30 soon. Yeah.
He doesn't make his money now. When is he going to make it? If I'm him, I'm looking for a good 3 years. I don't think I'm accepting a 2-year contract.
Right. It's like, I need a 9-year contract, please. I'm willing to take 3% less if you give me 9 years guaranteed. He's going to try for some shit like that. I think that's a very good point, because this is more, I mean, he might get another contract after this, but this is the last time he's going to be able to really kind of make demands, I think. On the back end of 30, it's probably going to start whittling down. 2 years, 18.5 million. Wouldn't that be amazing if at the end of all this bullshit, at the end of it all, 2 years, 18.5 million? Wouldn't that be 9 million, when we know Maye was more than likely asking for upwards of 12-ish? I think that's kind of where they were, 12, 13. So wouldn't that be interesting? I think it would be an absolute coup. Like, because look, who doesn't like Marcus Maye? We all like him, but you just don't want to deal with this shit. You want to act like Jamal Adams? Get the hell out of here. Go suck somewhere else for like Jamal Adams is doing. So I think at the end of the day, if Joe Douglas said, oh yeah, we're signing Marcus Maye for, let's even say 3 years, 27 million or whatever, you know what I mean? Something like that. I'd be like, 2 years guaranteed. I'd feel pretty good. Green Dog says, I never blame the players for trying to get paid. It's a short, dangerous career. They have to cash in when they can. And I'm going to tell you right now, I completely agree with that. It's all about how you do it, though. Hiding a DUI and calling the GM a scumbag that you never trust. He's the worst GM in the world, making all these stories about how he's lowballing you and doesn't take care of his best player and all that sort of stuff in the press. I don't agree with that end of it. So I don't think you're wrong, Green Dog. They have to. The teams, the teams are going to try to get them for as least as they can. And don't forget, if the NFL teams can pay a player, $500 million like Mahomes, how much money are they really making if they can pay $200 million a year in salaries? So, You got to remember that. And for many years, the NFL players were absolutely screwed. The owners were making millions and they were paying them $50 a week, kind of a thing. So I don't disagree, but I think there's a way that you go about doing it, and you don't shit where you eat. You know what I mean?
You got some else? Oh yeah, there. I just wanted to make sure you saw.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy.
Sure.
We got a super chat from Submission72. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. He says, I'm with Jeremy on this one. I think he realizes that he's still in trouble. Salah said he's going to support Maye. Jets will support him. So what do you think that means, that the Jets are going to support him? You think like while he's under contract, they're just going to treat him as they would any other player under contract? You don't think they're going to hold his feet over the fire or anything like that? Is that what you're saying, Jeremy?
No, I mean, I think what I meant, and I hope is that he realizes that he hurt himself in the market, like he hurt his value in the market, and that damage control is, if I'm still putting up a stink and I don't fix this and act like a team guy, it's just a red flag to GMs. But I do agree, and I believe Salah when Salah says we're going to support him. I think that he would love to have him on the team the next couple of years. I just think that, but JD's going to get the fair price that he puts on the position and on the quality of the player. And JD doesn't get emotional. He's just very, we've seen it. He sticks to his guns. There's a chance that his agent's going to fish out there and it's too late. And the 2-year deal you're talking about of guaranteed $9.5 million might be the best deal he gets. So it just might simply be the best deal that's out there for him. I mean, I don't know how the rest of the NFL perceives Marcus Maye. I mean, so especially after what happened. So I just think he's doing whatever he can to fix his name, look like a great team player guy, for the purpose of not just the Jets to offer him a good contract, but for anyone to offer him a good contract. I think he's just trying to rebuild his market value.
Right. Interesting. Watu what do you think about like the Salah piece there? Do you think like Salah's tact with the players is just like, hey, I'm going to treat the players as men, and across the board, I'm just going to treat them as I would anyone else. And if the team trades them or signs them, that's on Joe Douglas. But me with the players, I'm just going to stay the course and support them as men. Do you think that's what's going on here, or do you see it a different way?
I think that makes sense. I think the attitude is whatever Adam Gase did, do the opposite. Posting fines and stuff like that, and all the mistakes that were made, and all the stuff he used to do. You definitely get the feeling that, I guess the common term is players coach, that Salah is a players coach. I don't know how much of a quote unquote disciplinarian, like a Parcells kind of guy that he is. But I think in this day and age with these players, you have to connect with them first before you discipline them. So, because I think these players are going to discipline from somebody who, when they know that the organization cares about them. So you establish that first, especially as a first-year head coach. Now, of course, in the press conferences, he said the organization is going to support him. Just like he said they were going to support Zach Wilson, that they were going to lift Zach Wilson up. Different circumstances, but the same philosophy, if you get my drift on.
Yeah,
so
I like that. I think that's interesting. I like how you put that.
That's pretty much my point. That's pretty much my point on that.
Okay, awesome, man. Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to do it. And I think that's probably the right way to do it. Like for Salah, he's the coach. He's the leader of men. The business aspects, I let the business people take care of that. I have a player in front of me. I have a man in front of me. He's going through this, that, or the other thing. I'm here for him as I would be anybody else on my roster. There's only, 53 guys in his world, and then you got the 16-person practice squad. So what do we have? Say 79 people? Is that what that is? Did I do that math that quick? Is that right? So 79 people. I'm going to treat them all great across the board, even Blake Cashman. So let's see. Yeah, the Sneakers Boots says Maye is scrambling because his agent probably isn't getting calls. That's an interesting one, right? Like then that kind of dovetails nicely with what Jeremy was saying. And look, Mo Lake even chimes in and says maybe he's realizing he's not that coveted by other teams, especially when you get pulled over and you're sleeping in the front seat with puke all over yourself. That's a stick in the spokes to whatever plans you had. So it could definitely change things, Let's see. I saw another one. It was pretty good. Here is it. I don't know what the hell it was. All right. Well, Scott Wilson says, I'm open to keeping Maye for the year only to stabilize the defense for the next 12 games. Joyner's still out. Davis working his way back. And that's a good point, too, when everybody's talking about trading Maye. I mean, look, we've played the last few weeks without him, and they've been okay. They have. It doesn't look like they had too much of a hit from Maye's departure. They even won the first game that he didn't play. But it still does make sense to keep somebody in there that you know can play. I mean, what happens if these other safety of the week kind of guys get hurt? Now we're literally signing guys off the street to start. And, maybe a guy like Lamar Jackson on the practice squad can come in and play safety or something. But I still think it's probably smarter, especially if we're trying to actually progress this year, it's probably smarter to keep Marcus Maye in the fold, even if it's just for this year. So I think that's a pretty good point. Dark Soldier, Gripe Jelly himself. Did you guys hear my most recent video when I landed on the great new saying called Gripe Jelly? Did you hear about that? No? You guys didn't see it?
I did hear
Dark
the
Soldier found it. He found it, man. He's been writing me Gripe Jelly for a week. So, yeah, I laughed when I said it. So it was one of those things. I was talking about people and their gripes, not grapes, gripes. And anyway, it's not going to sound funny now. But anyway, Dark Soldier liked it. And he says Maye to the Cowboys for a fourth. Jeremy, you think a fourth is enough? Is that enough to take Maye and jettison him, even with the potential benefits for the young guys for the remainder of the year? You think a fourth would do it for you?
No, I wouldn't. I think he's first of all, I just think he's worth more, especially with the ability to tag him if he plays great for another team. Like if as a piece for another team, it's like, and you can control him for an extra year. I don't think it's enough for. I'm never against answering the phone for a player, but a fourth just isn't high enough for. Even though that we're built for the future and this is a rebuild year, there's only so far you want to go. You don't want to be embarrassed on the field. You don't want to, put yourself so thin at defense. And, just like Adam was saying, we're injured there. We lost Joyner for the year already. Ashton Davis is coming back. I mean, I wouldn't put we still want to be competitive. We still want to build confidence and get some wins. So not for a fourth. I mean, but, if you start talking third round from a team that might have a high third round pick, or like if you say second round pick, then, that changes things. But I think as much as I love draft picks, just like you do, GreenBean, a fourth is not enough.
I do love draft picks. Well, Frankie comes in with an interesting comment, and this kind of, it goes a little bit with what, kind of like finds the crevice between what we're talking about here. It says all of these circumstances are perfect for JD to swoop in and secure a good player for reasonable cost. And that's the interesting piece. Like if at the end of all this stuff, Maye's agent is a scumbag, Marcus Maye says he's not happy because whatever you say, you talk to Jamal Adams gets $17.5 million. Then a ball gets stuck in his friggin' face mask and he drops it. And all this stuff is going on. And then, the agent and all that. And then all of a sudden, Marcus Maye has this issue with the DUI and the injury. And Joe Douglas swoops in and goes, hey, look, dude, all that shit aside, we're still your buds. We're still going to support you. You're our guy. How about this? How about we work out? We meet in the middle. 3 years, 10 million, 2 guaranteed. Let's just put it fuck behind us. And if he does that, like Frankie's saying, secure a good player for reasonable cost, I think that would be masterful stroke from the bald wonder bar, Joe Douglas. I think that would be fantastic. I like it. So New York Sports MC says at the end of the day, JD needs to decide trade him or make sure to sign him. No letting him walk like Robbie. That I agree with. But the good news is this, MC, is that we could very, very easily tag and trade him at the end of the year. Like we don't have to trade him right now. We don't. We can tag him again. It's completely within our rights to do so. We just tag them and negotiate with other teams. Technically speaking, teams are not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to use the franchise tag specifically to trade someone, but it's done all the time, and there's no real way to prove it. You say, "No, we want them," you know. And but anyway, I think that's still a possibility. I agree. I'd rather get a 6th or 7th than nothing. So I agree with you there. You said there was another super chat. What do we got? Ryan Antonori. Sorry, buddy. Oh my God, my paisana's off. Ryan Antonori. Thank you for the super chat. He says it's smart to stick with Maye for the rest of the season. I like how our secondary has played, but I don't know how they'll do against elite competition. Looks like Jeremy bailed. Let me bounce him out for a little bit. So yeah, Ryan, I think that's kind of where I am. Like, here's the way it would work for me. If somebody came in and was going to give us a 2nd round pick that was like at the end of the round, like, you know, somebody with a winning record, and they, you know, just say, hey, look, we know we're going to be the last 4 picks in the 2nd round. We'll give you a 2nd. You throw us a 7th. And then, you know, for Marcus Maye, that's too good for me to pass up, I think. If it's a 3rd, I really consider it. If it's anything less, I think I'm landing right where Ryan is, which is it's better for the young guys to have him here. It's better for the team to have him here. And we're still trying to progress. We're still trying to lay a foundation. And I don't think for like a 4th, 5th, 6th, any of that stuff that I would just get rid of them for the sake of getting rid of them. How do you feel, Wat2K? You think I'm off here, or is that somewhere that you're
Maye? Because if we're trading Maye to a quote unquote winner, if we're trading him to Tampa, to the Rams, to the Cowboys, that pick is likely going to be at the end of the round, because we know not all the beginning of the 3rd round is a lot different than the back of the 3rd round.
Hell yeah.
Front of the 4th, it's a lot different than the back of the 4th round. I mean, I remember when we were talking about the draft earlier this year, you were really talking about how excited you were about that 3rd round. That's where the value was. So I want the pick, yes. So if we could get that pick at the back of the 2nd round as opposed to the back of the 3rd round, it could be pretty substantial. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not settling for. And the other thing with Joe Douglas, it's really just this asset for this asset. It's like a combination of things. Like, he'll trade a 7th now to get 2 6ths, or he'll throw in this player, but there'll be an exchange of draft picks. I got a feeling if there's a trade for Marcus Maye, it'll be like it was with Sam, with Jamal, and with Herndon. It's going to be more than 2. It's going to be more than Maye and a pick. It's going to be multi-layered. So I think it's going to be one of those complicated Joe Douglas trades.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually that's a great point. I want to bring something up for you guys. And I'm going to show you what our draft picks look like right now. I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys just on this point. So Ryan, this is really good that you're bringing this stuff up. And then Wat2K, that inspired a good point by Wat2K that I really want to explore here for a second. I want to show you just how Joe Douglas has been working here. So let's see. Can you guys see it? Let me see here. What do you do? Let me see. So look at our picks. Okay. Number 1. And look, and we won't spend too much time on the draft picks and how to use them. We're just talking about Marcus Maye and value and all that sort of stuff. But I want to take a second and look at this. So you look at our draft picks. I want to say this too. I want to correct you from last week, you and Jeremy and everybody else. It is 10 picks. It's not 11, you bastards. You made me second guess myself. I'm like, really? Is it 10? I mean, is it 11? It is 10. But so look at where our picks are. We have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 1 third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and 1 sixth. But as we scroll down, look at how we acquired our picks. We have our own first, okay? Then we have pick 13 from Seattle Seahawks. Then we have our own second. Then we have pick 49 from the Carolina Panthers. Then we have 2 fourths. Neither of them were ours. We got 1 from Carolina and 1 from Minnesota in the Chris Herndon trade. Then we have a 5th round pick. We have our own 5th, and then we have a 5th round pick for Avery Williamson from Pittsburgh. Then our only 6th round pick is from Tampa Bay. So 5 of our 10 picks, 5 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 6 of our 10 picks are from other teams. That's how much that's how much draft work that our GM has done this time. Now, a lot of the time, as we know, like Avery Williamson, we didn't, lose or gain a pick. All we did was use Avery Williamson to make a 7th into a 5th. Same thing with McClendon. We made a 7th into a 6th. So all that, and then with Herndon, he made a 6th into a 4th. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. But 6 of our 10 picks, Joe Douglas has acquired or advanced via using players and capital to get those trades in. Isn't that fascinating what this guy's doing? It's like we just look at it and go, oh, we got 10 picks. Like, no, dude. Not only do we have 10 picks, which 3 of those are more than a normal draft class would be, but 6 of them have been worked to move up. What do you think of that? Isn't that kind of crazy, Watsuke?
Wheeling and dealing Douglas. That's something? He's oh yeah, he's stealing, wheeling, dealing. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I think what was up with the website, by the way, just to address that, was it hadn't addressed the trades like Shaq Lawson and stuff like that when they traded the 6. So I think that's why we thought.
And I'm just busting your balls anyway.
So that's So we thought the website it was right at the time. It seemed like a good idea at the time. But this is fascinating. I mean, obviously we're all rooting against Seattle and Carolina pretty much on a weekly basis. Yeah, we got to be rooting against Minnesota too, because that 4th round pick. I mean, we want that top of the 4th round pick, and because it's always fun, now that there's the break between round 3 and 4 to have that overnight feel of, okay, we got these early picks tomorrow. What can we do with those picks? But when you have this much ammo, you wonder if there's going to be a scenario where Douglas is going to want to trade up again. It's not possible. Now, I am not into mock drafts right now. I can't. No. We want to talk about prospects, fine, but with all due respect to the Matt O'Learys, I just can't. Draft positions are just so prone to change right now. I just can't deal with that. Yeah. But I think when I looked at the draft power rankings on Tankathon, the Jets are like 3rd, or I think they're 3rd right now. Philadelphia is far and away. The draft is just ridiculous. Right now, they'd have 3 top 10 picks, which is just sick. It is sick what they have.
It's nuts. But I'm sorry, go on, please.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about this past year's draft class. The 2020, we don't need to have a whole 2020 draft discussion. I think enough of that has been happening lately. You're right, and you addressed it in your in one of your recent videos, which I appreciated. But I feel as though that this guy and the scouting department knows what they're doing with the draft. It doesn't mean they're going to hit on every single draft pick. That's not a realistic expectation. But I think especially with Robert Salah, he knows the kinds of players that he wants to coach. And I think Joe Douglas is pretty good at going to get those kinds of players that he wants to coach. I think the simpatico, the connection that these 2 guys have, is going to work. And that's why I feel realistically as hopeful about the Jets as I have since the days of Rex Ryan and Mike Tannenbaum.
I really love how you said that simpatico relationship between Douglas and Salah. Like, we have to give that time to really bloom. Like, we just took their 2 bald heads and stuck them into the earth. Like, we have to water them. We have to let them grow and bear fruit. But dude, they are lockstep with one another. And it's such a good point that Joe Douglas's mission right now is to get the types of players that Robert Salah wants on his team. And with them being so kind of symbiotic, it's really an interesting thing. It's about players that are blue collar, like willing to play more positions, go to work early, leave work late, like those types of guys. And the more of that we have, and when we can really install these pretty complex systems, at least on offense, it's really it's going to bear fruit for us, but it takes time. But I think that's such a great point, Watsuke. And look, getting down to some of the chats too, kind of in league with this, Salah will do more for Maye than Maye will get from any other team. And that's kind of what we're talking about. This is brand new. People are still wondering, myself included, is Salah even a good head coach? We don't know. Is LaFleur even a good offensive coordinator? We don't know. I mean, I could say pretty confidently that Tony Oden is a friggin' rock star defensive backs coach. I'm liking Ulbrich, but there are questions all over the place about this staff. But as far as how they can impact men led by Robert Salah, I think he's special in that regard. And I think when players are around him for long periods of time, they tend to become incredibly loyal to him and passionate for him. Like the old saying goes, run through a brick wall for him. And I think that's very real. And the longer that we give these guys, Joe Douglas, Robert Salah, as the leaders of this organization to be able to permeate and affect these young men, we're going to see real results. And that's, I feel the same way. I haven't felt this good about the direction in a long time. I'm not happy with all the bumps and bruises, just like everybody else. I'd like to see more than 3 points in a friggin' first quarter this year. But that all said, I do feel good about the direction, and I think that's pretty cool, man. So we have another super chat. Where did it go? Down here. I'm sorry I got to skip so many comments, man. But that's the way it goes. So you guys are incredible, though. There's so much good shit coming from the chat right now.
Except for Jay Oaks. He's the one trolling the group, so hopefully
he's trolling. Yeah, I saw that. Delusional. Hey, Jay Oaks, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. Every troll thinks they're the most unique and original troll, and they all say the same shit. Isn't that funny? It's the funniest thing.
What they're choosing to do, that's the best thing they have to do with their night.
I know. It's funny. It really is. It's like, it's so sad. It's hilarious. It's like number one, like you said, that's what they're doing tonight. Really, it's Thursday night. You got NFL football, and they're on some fan board busting balls. Number two, they're never funny. Like they're so humdrum. There's never anything unique as far as trolls go. And then on top of that, it's like, do you think Jets fans dude, we've been trolled since we're 4 years old. It's like we hear worse from our own family, man. Like our own families bust our balls better than trolls do. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I got it Friday when I was just getting lunch at one of the local barbecue joints. Get myself some brisket and whatnot, and I have my Jets hat on, and I'm looking forward to the day where it's like, man, your team's awesome. I'm looking forward to that day happening. Because it's been a long freaking time since that went.
It has. And for a lot of us like that, we live in real like enemy territory, like the guys living up there in New England or Buffalo. I lived in Miami, for 15 years. I lived down there. I worked literally 5 minutes from the stadium, and it was like constant. Every Monday I walked into my job and it was like, like that's what I got for years. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy. So troll away, dude. If you start talking about race or politics, I'll just bounce you. But until then, I think you're fine. Let's see. Sylv Scouts, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He says, with the personnel LaFleur runs, excuse me, with the personnel LaFleur runs, 100% would have pushed a Ertz trade. We aren't win now, but opening up the offense and helping Zach develop is worth a pick and the money. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't disagree. I'm also going to add to that, Sylv. And I think you were around. I mean, I think you've been around long enough to remember this. I was literally getting made fun of during all last year's mocks and everything. I was like, people would make fun of me and tell me that like I have an obsession with tight ends. And it's not that I have an obsession with tight ends. I really do like the tight end position, but it was about this team. I was trying to convey that I saw tight end as a much bigger need than wide receiver, even running back. I was like, dude, we need tight ends. And nobody wanted to believe me. Very few people. So I just want you to know I'm with you there. That said, I don't think we've really seen what the tight ends can do because Zach has been so erratic. So I don't know. I know Joe Douglas likes Ryan Griffin. We know that. We also know that Daniel Brown, Brant Boyer likes Daniel Brown. So he's on the team for special teams. Tyler Kroft was a guy I think they were hoping to get a little bit more out of, but don't forget, Zach has been missing these guys a lot. There would be at least one or two more touchdowns from the tight end position if Zach could hit them. So I think Joe Douglas isn't willing to pull the cord and just panic and like kind of cover up Ryan Griffin, Tyler Kroft, even Kenny Yeboah, and to on the sidebar Trevon Wesco, I don't think he hates the group. I think it's just one of those things that he's going to give this season to see where they are so he knows where his real needs are. He's not pushing the panic button early. Now, whether or not we agree, that's what I think Joe Douglas, that's what his stance is right now. And I think once Zach Wilson, I call Quincy Wilson, Quincy Williams, and Zach Wilson, I'm all over the place. So I think once Zach Wilson gets able, more comfortable and is able to hit the guys that are open and who the play is designed for, I think we'll see a little bit of an uptick in the tight end production. Doesn't mean I love them. I just don't think the Jets see it the same way that we see it because they know what's going on in there on a daily basis. Do you have any thoughts on the tight ends, or would you have traded for Zach Ertz? Where do you stand with that?
I think one of the interesting things that just came to my mind, the way you were describing that, is it's a situation right now where we're counting on the tight ends to help make the quarterback. Zach Wilson is not at the point yet where he is making his tight ends. And I think the distinction there is very, very important because, I'm incredibly down on the tight end group. Tyler Kroft was actually somebody I was somewhat excited about. I felt like he had this knack for scoring touchdowns, and he did in the preseason anyway. And then the regular season, we haven't seen anything close to that. But he is supposed to be out this week. And against Atlanta, Ryan Griffin played, I checked, 96% of the offensive snaps. I don't need to see that ever again. But I'm absolutely expecting it. So as far as Zach Ertz goes, I was down on the idea of trading for him, not because I don't respect the player or the career he's had. I just felt like that was the kind of trade you would make when you're one player away. And factor in, Arizona lost their tight end for the season. They had a gaping hole there to Kyler Murray, but they already have DeAndre Hopkins. They already have some dynamic weapons on that offense. And Ertz might be that guy who's won a Super Bowl, who can take this team that's having this magical run, this fantastic start, but they may not know how to win. They may not know how to handle those. They might need that extra push to get them over the finish line as the regular season winds down, as the weather turns cold, as the playoffs approach. He can be that leader that they need. I don't think the Jets are there quite yet. In fact, I know they're not there quite yet. Compare the records, it's pretty obvious. So
I think that's a good point.
This option, it's not a realistic thing for this team at this particular point in time for me.
Yeah, and that makes sense. It's not to say I think everybody likes Zach Ertz at least a little bit. How do you not, right? Oh, yeah. But I think what Y2K is talking about is I think where he went, the need was a little bit more now. And I hear what you're saying, Silv. I really do. It's with the potential that it could have for building a young quarterback's confidence and all that sort of stuff. The benefit would supersede maybe the value of the 5th round pick, whatever it was. And I get that. I think that they obviously weighed that out. I feel pretty confident that Joe Douglas kicked the tires on that one. I think with what we both said, I think that's probably what's going on. So, but thank you for the super chat. And Gitmo Bob chimes in and says, "Hey, we were only making fun of you because you wanted every tight end," and that's a good point. That's a good point. I did like a lot of them.
You still got your Nick Eubanks jersey ready, or?
Oh yeah, dude, I couldn't believe it, dude. When they did the cut downs to find, the roster cut downs to 53, Nick Eubanks and Tony Poljan both made it through, as did Kenny Yeboah. I'm like, oh my god, that's 3 draft picks. Sign them all. That's what I would have done. I would have a tight end room on the practice squad of Nick Eubanks, Kenny Yeboah, and Tony Poljan. Oh my god. I would have lost my shit.
Mason has that hybrid guy that
guy too.
When we couldn't get Kyle Juszczyk, we didn't have a chance to get him. I really wanted him in free agency, but the Jets had to sign him. So I thought Mason would be that guy, but
they snatched Juszczyk up real quick. Juszczyk
immediately, and of course he's immediately posting about it on Instagram. Man, pretty hot wife though. I get. Yeah.
That's right. You're not wrong. So Scott Wilson says Freiermuth has had some nice moments. That was my I mean, look, Kyle Pitts was my favorite tight end in the draft. I mean, leaps and bounds, but right behind him was Pat Freiermuth, and he already looks the part in Pittsburgh, man. I'm just like, Pittsburgh was in a different place, so I knew that this wasn't realistic for us, but they got two of my top 10 favorite guys in the entire draft, Pat Freiermuth and Najee Harris, and I think that's going to be beneficial for them for a long time. I wish we could have taken those guys. But next year, we're going to get Charlie Kolar from Iowa or Ruckert from Ohio State, and we'll be fine. Both of those guys will work out well for us, along with Kenny Yeboah in his second year. I think we'll be good. That's what I think. I think that we'll be good. Joseph Schwert says we need a tight end. Yeah, that's the thing. No. Here's an interesting one. Now, I've heard this a couple times. Oh, nice pass. I heard this a couple times. Mims to tight end. Now, here's my thoughts on that. I totally get why people are saying it. Any way to get Mims on the field, number one. Number two, he's a big, strong guy, 6'3", does block well for his part where he is with the defensive backs and all that. But I don't think, look, let me say it like this. I think blocking a defensive back and being an inline blocker, trying to chip defensive ends, 280, 290, I think that's a whole different problem. And I don't know if I'd want to subject Mims to that. I don't think that he'd necessarily like automatically be effective there. Now, the peel off and all that, maybe. But I don't know. I think Mims would probably be a failure at tight end if we just threw him in there. Now, maybe that's what they're working on. They're saying he has to work on all these positions. And, the Y is essentially a tight end. So maybe that's what they are doing. Who knows? But I think just my first thought is that Mims to tight end is a bit scarier. Blocking defensive ends and blocking cornerbacks are two entirely different things. So it makes me a little nervous. That said, I'm really interested in anything that can get Mims on the field and be there for Zach Wilson. I am in favor of considering, but I think tight end is a little bit more difficult than people give it credit for. A good tight end is worth his weight in gold, and not everybody's a good tight end, man. If sometimes they're good blockers and they have no hands, but the guys with good hands, a lot of the times they can't block, man, and it's not as easy as it looks. You know what I mean?
This league is littered with run-of-the-mill tight ends. There's very few who truly make a difference. If you have one, you have something very special.
Right.
There's not a lot of Travis Kelce's. I see people like, let's get the tight end from Cleveland and Njoku. The guy has done practically nothing in 3 years. I'm sorry. I'm not interested in raw potential after he's already been in the league 5 years. At this point, you're going to pretty much reach your potential after 5 years. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing because I feel the same way. Like, and Njoku has had major drops at the wrong moments too. He's not exactly what I would call a clutch player. And he's the kind of guy that if you brought him over to the Jets, every negative trait that he has is going to be exacerbated. Like the Jets, like we're not the team, we're not the organization to take chances and hope that the positive side flips. That's not the way it goes for us. What if they have an injury history? They're getting injured here. If they have a history of drops, they're dropping the ball here. If they have an injury of getting into trouble at the bar, then that's what they're doing. So like you can't do that. That's why I like Joe Douglas's approach of drafting like high character guys. I'm so in favor of that because hell yeah, man, the Jets are not the team. Whatever your issue is, it's going to be expounded upon while you're a New York Jet. It bothers the hell out of me. So let's see. We had a super chat from V-Man. What's up, V-Man? Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. He says, GreenBean, how do you think New England's consistency issues will factor into Sunday's Jets-Patriots game? If the Pats play sloppy, how do you like our chances? Well, let me say this, right? So they actually played a really good game the other day against the Cowboys. They played a very good game, and it seems like they've been playing like a shitty game, a good game, a shitty game, a good game. I've talked to a few people about that this very week, actually. So I think if that were to be the case, they're due for a sloppy game. Now, the fact that we've played them already, and look, we didn't play them all that poorly. We just had 4 turnovers, and the wear and tear that 4 turnovers has on the defense is what we saw later in the game. No longer able to tackle, all that kind of stuff. It all came to life as the game moved on when the defense was literally on the field the whole time. The defense was on the field all but 4 plays of the first quarter in the first New England game. So I think if we can turn down the turnovers, like if we can tone them down, I mean, like maybe to 0. Let's say we have no turnovers. I think that we have a really good chance because we already know what they're doing. Like, we've played them. We have an understanding of what they can and can't do, at least to some degree. The players have already kind of clashed swords with their players. I think it's going to go a long way. And if we can just limit the turnovers, and maybe none, I think we got a real good shot. They did play a good game last week. Maybe they're due for a sloppy one. So I think if they do play sloppy, I think we're going to kick their ass. That's what I think. But it's all about the turnovers. You heard it here first. Here's my official stance. If we don't have turnovers, we're winning this game. If we do have turnovers, then I'm not saying we're definitely going to lose, but it's going to be, then we'll just see what's going on. But if we don't have any, we win. What do you think, Wat2K? Where do you stand on this one with this question?
I don't know if there's a way to compare stats on this. I could look into it, but I feel like there cannot be a team that has won the turnover battle and lost the game more than the Jets. I feel like they do that several times every stinking year. And yeah, looking at this game, I mean, I could go into some numbers in a little bit, but the turnovers were the absolute difference in that game. And of course, we had the one fumble that should have been called a fumble on the first drive of the game that I'm still aggravated.
So stupid, man.
And
Since
right away,
when did they blow the whistle before the guy? Like, why are they blowing the whistle when they're still tackling somebody? What is that? It's New England.
Right,
that's what it is.
Right then and there, I said, this is going to be the same old, same old. This is the same that we've been watching for 10 years, basically, with this team when they play New England. So I'm really trying to get my hopes up. But CJ Mosley better be good to go. He better be at least 80% of what he normally is. That scares me. I mean, he is the leader of this defense. He had 10 tackles in the first game against New England, and no disrespect to Jamie and Sherwood, but do I have confidence? Gerard Davis isn't playing this game.
I know.
We're
one more.
Pretty sure. I mean,
no, he's not.
I texted one guy. I said, "Is there a chance Blake Cashman can just make it through one game at linebacker without getting hurt? One game? Can he just make? We might need it. We really might need it this game." And I got to tell you, that does scare me a little bit.
Look, in his defense, listen,
but
on Cashman, real quick. In his defense, he doesn't get hurt when he doesn't play on the field. So when he's on the sideline, he's good. So is that what you mean? You want him on the sideline? Is that okay? He doesn't get hurt over there.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we got a goodie.
Her foot just walking. I mean, it could happen, but he hasn't had one of those yet. So I guess that's a step in the right direction. No pun intended.
Yeah. So, but that is a concern. I'm with you, man. The linebacker, look, CJ Mosley is a little dinged. Jared Davis is still out. Sherwood has had a couple injuries. Obviously, Nasruddin is on IR. So we're a little beat up. Quincy Wilson looks good. Well, Quincy Williams looks good. I'm all over the place with that guy. I can't get it. It's no matter which one I think is right, I'll say the other one. But it's concerning. So that's another reason why when you think of the Marcus Maye thing, I don't know. I don't know how willing I am to stir the pot. Like, we already have enough issues. Why create another one unless the price is too good to pass up? So Girl Getter, what's up, Girl Getter? Asks trading Crowder. Well, he says trading Crowder would be good for both sides. More play time for Mims and draft capital. What do you think of that? You think trading Crowder? I've heard that brought up a few times this week as we creep closer to the trade deadline. You think Crowder is legitimately on the trade block, and would you do it?
I noticed this particular post in the chat a little bit earlier, and I absolutely agree on this. As much as I like and respect Jamison Crowder, as much as he's done, let's be honest. Elijah Moore, when he was thriving at Ole Miss, played most of his time in the slot. He's been playing on the outside for most of his time with the Jets, and I don't think he's been open a couple times, and maybe Zach hasn't recognized him quite right. But I feel like his bread and butter, his best place to play, is in the slot. So if you trade Jamison Crowder, you are putting Elijah Moore in a spot for him to thrive. And yes, that potentially could open a little bit more time for Denzel Mims. Although, if Jeff Smith is playing, apparently, then we can't play Denzel Mims because we got to start Jeff Smith, of course.
Right. It's very important that Jeff Smith gets as many reps as possible.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Just give me some hope about it is I look back at week 2 at the targets, and our leading receiver, is Jeremy coming back here? I'm thinking that's Jeremy.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Welcome back.
Thank you.
But in the first New England game, Braxton Berrios was our most targeted receiver, and he had a pretty good game. But can you imagine how that would be going if it was Jamison Crowder in his place, if it was Elijah Moore in his place? I actually want to give you. Can I give you an interesting stat that I saw this week about the wide receiver, the Jets? I wanted to bring this. Okay, I looked at the yards after catch on these wide receivers, how they're doing with yards after the catch. Now, let's think about this. How many wide receivers are in the NFL? If each team has 7 receivers, there's got to be, 200-ish? Is that a fair number? Ish, 6, 7?
Sure.
Want to go?
It's a nice, safe number. Go ahead. Go with it.
Our leading receiver with yards after the catch is Corey Davis. He ranks 63rd in the league. It's not.
Wow.
He's 63rd yards after the catch. That's our best one. Braxton Berrios is 77th. Jamison Crowder is 99. I know he's played fewer games, but still. Elijah Moore is 116, and Keelan Cole is 146. We got to get these receivers in some space. And, even though I don't jump on the offensive coordinator, we got to come up with some plans to get these receivers in some space because these guys got some speed. They're shifty. They can go. If we can get these guys with a little bit of space, there is real potential for big plays other than Zach creating something out of nothing and heaving the ball 80 yards like he's Brett Favre. Yards after the catch. That's one of the big things I want to see fixed on the offense this week.
Oh, such a big thing. And I think we have the guys. That's what's like when people say we're devoid of talent. I completely disagree. Now, I don't think we have a Super Bowl roster, but man, do we have some potential. Being able to scheme these guys into some space. Elijah Moore, even James Crowder, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims is excellent after the catch. He's just so big. It doesn't look like it's, but he gets like a minimum of 5 to 7 yards after the catch just by catching it and leaning forward. That's what happens with him. And we have a lot of guys that could do some stuff. Jeremy, what do you think? You trading Crowder? You think it'd be good right now, or
no? It's the same thing that what I was saying with Maye. It's you have to hold on to something, and like in this case, it's even more important because Zach, had a little bit of success with him, and I think that you need right now is the last thing we need to do is take away a potential best friend for him. Elijah Moore, I believe in his potential. He's young. It's only been a handful of games, but for right now, he's not proven that he could do enough. Probably because he's out of position half the time, playing a position that Mims should be playing. But I just have to throw that in. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't trade him right now. I mean, unless again, always answer the phone. If someone offers you something, an offer you can't refuse. It's an offer you can't refuse. But I'm not looking to take away a weapon for Zach. I mean, right now we're developing a quarterback. He needs some weapons.
That's right, man. And look, when some guys were injured, like when Mims was, he was sick, and then Jeff Smith got hurt, and Elijah Moore got a concussion, we were still able to throw out there Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, and Jamison Crowder. We weren't signing Dante Moncrief and Paul Hogan, whatever the hell his name, Chris Hogan from the
Dundee.
Right, you Crocodile Dundee. We're throwing Crocodile Dundee out there. So that's the thing. It's like I don't know why we have an aversion towards depth around here. It's like as soon as a player's one step out of being a starter, we want to trade him. And I don't think that's the smart move. Now, just like Jeremy said, and I think what Girl Getter might be alluding to here too, is like if a team calls and says, hey, we need a guy right now. It's like our guy's hurt. We need a guy. We're willing to give you a second for Jamison Crowder or something like that. You go, okay. You know what I mean? All right. It's too good to pass up. And then the other side is maybe Jamison Crowder can go to a contender and actually, listen, Crowder's whole career, he's been in the friggin' basement, poor guy. And he never gripes. He never complains. He's never an issue. He's one of those guys. He just goes to work, works his ass off, and is very effective, quite frankly. I think he's a bit underrated by the NFL. I think he's a little overrated sometimes by Jets fans, but I think he's underrated in the NFL. So if somebody gave him the opportunity to go somewhere, like think about Jamison Crowder on like the Rams or something like that, he would be fucking electric, man. I honestly believe that. So I think it could work out for both sides. But again, the most important thing for us is Zach Wilson, and Jamison Crowder is a nice outlet for him to have. And then having that depth, I think, is invaluable. So if it was too good to pass up, I think I'd consider, like Jeremy said, I answered the phone, but I'm not looking to trade. I'm not making any calls about Jamison Crowder right now. Hey, man, tag and trade them at the end of the year. Tag and trade them all. Yeah. So, hey, Jeremy, I got a question for you. I don't know what this bull. Oh, look at that. Oh, it was almost a sack. Sorry. Anyway, Jeremy, why don't you have your green screen up? What is this bullshit? Why aren't we looking at you at the Jets facility?
It's because I'm going to tell you right now. It's because my green screen right now, I replaced, and I don't want to give away too much information because I think you're getting the same thing. Phil Adams sent me something that I'm going to reveal.
Oh,
and that's
right now.
And that's
he didn't send me the same thing.
If I reveal it right now, I have to walk with the computer upstairs. Is that okay?
Oh, forget it. No,
gonna,
I have zero interest.
Okay. Okay. But I was going to reveal it on Saturday morning.
Okay, good enough. Good enough. Okay, so yeah, Jeremy has a really good green screen effect where he looks like he's in the Jets facility, or at least like he's where they interview people, and it's sharp. It looks good. I don't love a lot of green screens. I'll be real honest. A lot of people's green screens, I'm like, but that one's good. So Green Dog brings up. He says, speaking of yak yards after the catch, a lot of yak is throwing a good ball and leading the receiver. So maybe that's what's going on too. As we know, I think it's safe to say our boy has been erratic, especially the last 3 weeks. Well, obviously the first 3 weeks too, you know what I mean? But I think the first couple of weeks he was more accurate and the receivers were dropping a lot of his passes. And now the last 3 weeks, I think he's really been off, trying to push the ball in and place it perfectly. He's throwing into the dirt. He's always sailing people. He's throwing behind them. But I think that's really a good point. Do you think, like as Watuke was mentioning, we need to figure out a way to get our playmakers in space? Do you see Zach Wilson as a major problem with that, or you think it's more LaFleur? What do you think, Watuke? How do you see that, kind of to expand upon your comment earlier?
It's an interesting point. All I can do is compare what I'm seeing during these games. I felt like against Atlanta, nearly every pass that he was throwing was contested. But I felt like Matt Ryan had pass after pass where there wasn't a Jet defender within like 5 yards. And I felt that was happening over and over and over again. So I really think it's both. I don't think, you could truly quantify how much is on the quarterback and how much is on the OC. But when it becomes a habit and a steady pattern, I mean, eventually, I don't know how much the quarterback is supposed to do. I mean, the quarterback is not the one designing these plays. So, again, I don't want to be one to jump on Mike LaFleur already. I think after this early in the season, it is very premature to say he needs to go. I'm not that type of a guy. But I hope he's had a wake-up call this week and realizing that even though Zach is not executing to an extent, I think he is not necessarily getting the most out of the weapons that this team has to work with. Right. So I think we need to see both.
What do you think, Jeremy? Not that I remember what the question is anymore, but what do you think?
Yards after catch, quarterback.
You're on mute. Yeah, that's what it was. Right.
Yeah. I think some of it is on Zach. Some of it is on plays. Some of it's, there's definitely been plays where he's been a little bit late. and inaccurate. And it's hard to know because we don't see the play that doesn't happen, right? Like sometimes I think he's overlooking for Corey Davis, and because some of the stats, there are some stats out there that shows that Elijah Moore and Cole actually create more space between them and their receivers. I saw that statistic out there that they were actually creating more space between them and the defenders. I'm sorry. So I don't know if it's because of the play and the progression and he hasn't had time to find it, or if it's because he's just looking and getting comfortable with only one receiver, or if it's the play calling. It's really hard to say, but I think probably the best answer is a little of everything. And everybody, the play calling has to improve a little bit. The scheme, Zach has to continue to grow and improve a little bit. I think it all has to come together and click, and then we'll start seeing more yak.
Yeah. Well, I think those are good answers, and I think it is really a combo. And now that the offensive line is really settling down, at least it's in the passing game seems to be settling down first, which is fine by me, by the way. If they're going to pick one to settle down with earlier, I think the pass blocking would be what I asked for if I had to pick one. But I think that we are starting to see that. And now if Zach can start to actually trust his offensive line, like actually go back without trying to like spidey sense all around him and just be comfortable and trust his offensive line to keep him safe, I think we'll see a whole different game. And the last couple of weeks are good indicator that's at least beginning. So I'm excited about that. Now, switching gears a bit, Christopher Moran checks in. What's up, Chris? And he says, can the Jets get their first interception this week? What the fuck, man? So we know he didn't say that last part. That was me. We do know that we were able to force some fumbles, which have been exciting. And I think we're doing a good job forcing fumbles. I think that's part of what Ulbricht preaches, and we've been doing a good job, but we have not seen a pick. So what do you think? Like, if we had to say who it was that gets the first pick for the Jets and when it was, what is your answer? Jeremy, I'll start with you. Who do you think it's going to be, and when is it going to happen?
Well, it's interesting because I did a wild take before the season started with Frankie that he laughed at me and it drove some people in the chat crazy because I said Brandon Eccles would get the first pick as a Jet. And one of the things I give Frankie a really hard time about is that I'm still alive in that. Like Eccles is tied with everybody else in picks, and haven't been proven wrong yet. So I'm not going to go against my original wild take. I just have a feeling that Brandon Eccles is going to get the first pick for the Jets.
Brandon Eccles. You're sticking with it. I like it, man. That's good. What do you think, Wat2K?
I think I will say this. Mac Jones does have 6 interceptions this season. He is prone to throwing a pick in there. I don't think it's going to be – I think it's going to be one of those things where like a John Franklin Myers tips the ball and just sends it up into space, and then a linebacker comes down with it. I think that's the type of interception I could see the Jets getting. So I don't know. Even though we don't know what his health is going to be, I'm not saying it's going to be this week. I really want to think it's going to be a linebacker, and I want to go Mosley just because I don't trust Quincy Williams to be the one to get it. I'm going to say CJ Mosley gets the first interception this season. Why not?
I like it. I'm in. I think that's a really good thought process to have, too. I like that. Now, I was going to say, and I'll just stick with it, although what you just said caused my brain to start reshuffling things, but I'm going to stick with my guess. I think the closest so far has been Bryce Hall, and I think that is going to continue. He was mere inches from what I think would have ended up being a pick 6. That would have been incredible against Atlanta. And I think Bryce Hall is due. I think he's very talented, and he has a knack for the ball. In UVA, he did, and then you saw that interception last year. Incredible interception that he had last year for us. I think it's going to be Bryce Hall, and I do think it's going to be this week, Chris. I think Mac Jones will throw what he thinks is a sweet dime to a streaking receiver, and Bryce Hall's going to out jump him and catch it over his head like this. The receiver's going to be like this. Oh, I'm so money over the shoulder. And Bryce Hall's going to pluck it a la Revis and run it back 44 yards to the 27-yard line. of New England. How do you feel about that? What do you think? So Jet Life 45, this is a great comment. I don't know who he was talking to or whatever, but Jet Life 45 is awesome. I've had the opportunity of meeting him a couple times, and I have met his lovely wife, and she's an awesome one, man. And I mean that sincerely. He says, my wife knows I was married to the Jets before we even met. And that's the kind of thing, like, you have to be square. You can't go into a relationship, number one, not being honest. Hey, man, by the way, I'm a little obsessed with this thing. Is that going to be too much for you? Just get it on the table. And number two, you can't think you're going to change anybody or they're going to change you. It's not happening, okay? And whatever happens will happen organically, but you can't think, I don't like her, I'm going to change this and that. You're doomed. But Jet Life 45, his wife knew before they even met. This guy's obsessed with the Jets, and I think that's a great way to go. We actually shared pizza together. It was wonderful. She's super cool. Diehard Jets fan herself. At least that's what it looked like to me. Is that accurate? So very, very cool. We have some comments. Sir Robin says he thinks it's 5% Wilson, 50% LaFleur. Maybe that's 50-50. What do you think? I think he was shooting for 50-50 because there's like 45 or 40% left.
Unaccounted. Yep. There'd be 45% unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for.
45%. It's 45% happenstance.
Yeah, right. 45% Wesco. AC says it's experience and time in the system for all 11. I agree, man. Like, wait, look, patience is going to be. Oh, there he is. He corrected it. 50%. See, we made jokes, and all I had to do is look a couple comments down, Sir Robin. But yeah, I think that's really a good point from AC too. It's like, look, this is a complex system. We've heard it time and time again. Right? It's a complex system. You could see it game one. Our offensive line had no idea what they were doing. They were missing shit all over the place. They looked lost, as did the receivers, as did Zach at times. So as they play in this system, like, we're ready to chop everybody's heads off. But the truth is they're new. They're doing something for the first time, and we're expecting them to beat the best in the world and all that kind of stuff. So I think giving them, on a week-to-week basis, just benefit of the doubt, I think is going to go a long way toward our own peace of mind, man. And Ryan Antonori says, apparently Matt Ryan was very familiar with our defense since he went against it several times in practice throughout his career. What an interesting take. We heard all this press about Ulbricht being the coach of the Falcons, and he knew he had data and intel on them. We didn't think for a second, oh yeah, that means they have data and intel on him. We didn't even put that together. You think that had anything to do with it, or you think that Salah just got straight up outcoached? What do you guys think? Jeremy, where do you think that one landed? You think Matt Ryan just knew what what to expect and exploited it, or what?
I don't even know if it was out coached or just veteran super quarterback that was in the Super Bowl, had amazing career, savvy guy, just picking apart a young defense. I mean, because we're going to see what happens when we face other quarterbacks like that. Because if you think about it, who we faced, Sam Darnold, Bridgewater, a rookie in Macaroni and Jones, Tannenbaum, who we all know is really about Henry. And, so, I mean, I'm just thinking that, like, and this is not a happy thought, but like when we go against other very savvy veteran quarterbacks who are very good, we might see us struggle a little bit,
Yeah. Well, I hope you're wrong. How's that feel?
I definitely hope I'm wrong.
Watch UK. What do you think? You think that was part of what we were looking at, or you think it's just like Jeremy said? Nope, he's just a good quarterback. We got a young team, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, I definitely think that part of the Atlanta game plan was to not let Matt Ryan hold the ball like Ryan Tannehill did and pass immediately. And I think without Marcus Maye, I definitely think that made a difference. I think that was one of the reasons Kyle Pitts had the monster game that he did. I think if Maye's in the game, I think that definitely limits Pitts to a lot less damage. So I think Arthur Smith and Matt Ryan had a plan in place, and they executed it incredibly well. So,
wow.
Yeah. Good. So sometimes you got to give the other team a little bit of credit. And
Yeah.
Even though we felt Atlanta was a lousy team and they have played lousy for the most part, maybe we were just the right match for them. Maybe it's just that simple.
Oh, maybe. See, that's so funny because it's like literally that's the obverse of the whole. Everybody, the Atlanta's the perfect team for the Jets to play going into the bye, but it turns out maybe we were the perfect team for them that week. So I think that's a good look. So we got some chat guesses on the first pick. Let's see. New York Jets Tails jumps in and says he agrees with you, Y2K. He thinks Mosley, but not this week. He thinks it's going to be against the Bills. We're not going to see our first pick until the Bills game. Raw Power checks in. He says Maye gets it this week. That'd be good. AC says Bryce Hall or Marcus Maye. That's what we call covering our ass, covering our bases. This is my one guess. 2 guys, right? I always like that. So he says Bryce Hall or Marcus Maye. Either one will be fine by me. FOC, follower of Christ, says first pick Bryce Hall in garbage time. Oh, that's kind of, hey, a pick is a pick, right? Hopefully it's garbage time for us. Like we're just trying to ice the game or something. That would be nice. Hopefully it's not the other way around, but it's still right. It's still Bryce Hall. Slaugo says gotta be Guidry, right, Bean? I don't know. Guidry, I think he's shown us he can tackle, which was one of my main concerns with him. Let's see how he keeps going. I haven't seen him in too much position to make a pick yet. He's still getting burned out there, but I do like him more than I did. I wouldn't say I like him. I'm watching, but I'm rooting for him. That fucking game, he quite literally saved the game in Tennessee, man. You can't take that from the guy. So
no one said Carter. I thought Carter would be somebody.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
There we go.
Jet Life 45. Jet Life 45 says I'm going Michael Carter II. That's a good one, man. Michael Carter's playing fucking lights out, man. And that's a pick I liked. I didn't like Pinnock all that much, but Michael Carter II I actually did like as a pick. And I'm still, even though I liked him, I'm still surprised that he's playing so well. I just hope it continues. It would be so good if we nailed down our nickel corner for the next, at least, 4 years or 5. That would be fantastic. In the 5th round, 6th round, no less, right? Wasn't he a 6th? I forget.
I think a 5th.
Okay, 5th. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Green Dog. He says, what's that?
He was the other pick in the Leonard Williams trade. I believe it was Ashton Davis and Michael Carter.
There you go. Okay, good. So there's the 5th in the Leonard Williams trade netted us Michael Carter. So we got Ashton Davis and Michael Carter from Leo Williams. What do you think of that? We'll talk about it next year, maybe 2 years or something like that. Green Dog has a delightful comment, says this week Maye grabs our first pick and we all love him again, and that's all it takes to be lovers again. 1 pick and that's it. Sign him, give him 15 million. We love Maye. So Frankie actually agrees with Green Dog. He says I was just thinking this too. Well, then you should have said it. Right now Green Dog's getting the credit, Frankie, not you. Okay, that's the way it goes, buddy. Sorry, you should have spoke up.
Frankie's just praying for anyone but Eccles. He's saying, please not Eccles.
Right. You know it. It's so funny. Hater says, I think it will be Michael Carter II or Greenbeanjetsfan favorite cornerback, the Javelin. Right? Hey, let me tell you this, man. If it is Javelin Guidry, I'll be just as happy as if it's Bryce Hall. I want you to know that. I know people don't believe that. They're very black and white. But I would be ecstatic if it's Javelin Guidry. Wouldn't it be great if they all picked one this week? Wouldn't that be even better? Alex Barisha says, I say Salah. He's going to get our first pick. I'm in. Why not? Yeah, right. You're right, Jets Life. Your wife is awesome. I mean that. I mean that sincerely. If I didn't think that, I just wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say anything bad, of course, but I wouldn't say anything, You know how that goes. What else we got here? Slaugo says Guidry. Yeah, Jet Life says awesome pizza. We went to L&B Spumoni Gardens. That was great. We got into a big debate. Do you know? It was on Twitter today, and Sack Exchange, BKLYN929 on Twitter He was hot today about we were talking about pizza from all over the place, and he's not having it. It's fucking Brooklyn pizza or nothing. And he's tried pizza all over the country, but he was hot. And I said, National Geographic actually put in one of their magazines that the best pizza place in the entire country is none other than Crozet Pizza, which is here hidden in the Shenandoah Valley, a little place about maybe 30 minutes from where I sit right at this moment, a little place, Crozet Pizza. They said it's the best pizza in the country. And I'm gonna go down there and sample it maybe next week. Like before I leave here, I'm here till late November. I'm gonna get down there before I go, and I'll film it. Maybe I'll live stream from it and just say, hey, this is what we're doing here.
Are you
but
go like during the weekend or during the week? Do you have a time in mind?
no, we can plan it if you want to come up though.
Interesting. Yeah, Crozet. I know Crozet. It's in the right near the mountains, and Star Hill Brewery, which is fantastic beer place. And it's just like a little southern, quiet town, beautiful place, beautiful views.
Yeah. That's right. But Crozet is beautiful.
During the weekend, yeah, coming up during Halloween weekend. That'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, I'd be open to make it work. I would do it. Yeah. In fact, we're probably Charlottesville. I'm sorry. I think we're coming up to Charlottesville Saturday before Halloween.
I'm heading. It's funny. I'm heading to Williamsburg Saturday. I'm going all over the place. I'm going to Williamsburg for a party Saturday, and then I'm going to go to Busch Gardens for the haunts and ride some roller coasters.
Yeah, I was there last Sunday. Oh my God! I'll just say this about it. Sorry that we're getting so off topic, everybody, but
all right.
It's a Virginia thing. One, they had 5 haunted houses. Okay, and I'm not a big that horror guy, but the last one that we went into was a 50s diner. The only thing that I'm going to say is if anything could make me turn vegan, that house would have done the trick.
Oh yeah, it's good like that. That's good, man.
Unbelievable. They did a good job. A good job.
I can't wait. I got all kinds of fast passes and stuff. I'm a member of Busch Gardens, so it's I can't wait. I haven't been there in it's only been 2 years, but seems like forever. So yeah, I'll let you know when I'm going to Crozet Pizza, and we'll see if you can make it up. I don't know if it's going to be a weekday or a weekend. I have about 4 more weeks here or so. So it'll be soon. I'll tell you. So let's see what else we got here. Got any more? Oh, so Jets Mess says Quincy with the pick. Mark Reed says Ashton Davis with the first pick.
With a backflip.
Braden Bethwaite says JFM in the red zone. Oh, I like that. We're going to keep putting them in coverage. 13.5 means you're playing cornerback too, buddy. That's what that means. So let's see what else we got here. I guess that's all the guesses on that. So, all right, let me scroll. I'm just going to jump. If you have a comment up there, I'm sorry. I'm going to jump to the bottom and try to catch up with you guys. John Nolte says,
yeah, if we want to talk, we got the people asking about the uniforms, like how Woody Johnson apparently changed his mind about the uniforms we're going to be wearing this week. We could discuss that.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll even show you guys I made a reel about it today. But real quick, just to cap the pizza, John Salty Nolte says Florida pizza sucks. I'm with you. If you're in Miami, there's 2 good places, one in Hollywood, one in Miami. Steve's Pizza in Miami is good. Is as good as you're going to find. Then there's a lesser known place in Hollywood, right on the Hollywood Circle, called Moro's. You got to bring cash. Their slices are like the Jersey Shore, and it's good, man. It's cash only. They're real mean. They're from Brooklyn, and they tell you to fuck off, all that kind of stuff. So it's a warm environment. Reminds me of home. So if you're anywhere near there, Nolte, go to Steve's in Miami, or in my personal favorite is Moro's in Hollywood. So you got a shot. It's about as good as you're going to get. But Jets Mess slams at home. That's my favorite pizza place, I think, in the world. I am a big fan of the Reservoir Tavern in Boonton, New Jersey. But Totono's in Brooklyn and Coney Island is probably my favorite that I've had. And I loved L&B as well, but Totono's might be my favorite slice so far. Yeah, Green Dog says, no offense to National Geographic. What the hell do they know about pizza? Well, I don't know. They are National Geographic. I mean, they cover the whole world, on every level. So I don't know. I'm with you. That was Zach Exchange's argument. Who the hell you tell them to keep taking pictures of hyenas and elephants and fuck off with the pizza? That's our job.
That's a Rich Samini movie right there to get some attention. That's what National Geographic's doing.
Yeah,
that's the
I know, right?
National Geographic.
I used to be all Brooklyn pizza. It's only Brooklyn, and I think in the '80s, back in the day, it was kind of true New York City, and that was there weren't a lot of places, but the world has changed, and I've traveled around. I've been in a lot of places. I used to travel in high tech, and I found the world has gotten smaller. I mean, I found amazing wood oven pizza in Vancouver. That was incredible. That was like John's Pizza in New York. I mean, so you never know. You can get really good pizza, in a lot of different places. So cannot wait for the video or the pictures, GreenBean, when you go there.
Yeah. And look, I was impressed with Pittsburgh pizza. I mean, look, it's totally weird, man. They cook the crust and the sauce, and then when you order it, they sell it in cuts, not slices, and it's square. And then when you order it, they take it out of the oven and take cold cheese, put it on there, put it in a box, and give it to you. And the trick is to eat it when it's like still melting, and it's a weird thing. And the crust was great and crunchy, and I was like, I don't know, man, this is good. It's just good stuff.
And good call by John Amorello. One of the places he mentioned was the Faro, which is a very famous Brooklyn place. Well, I don't know if you knew about this, but they actually have a place now in Cary, North Carolina, where I used to live back outside Raleigh. My mom lives there now, and I went there a couple months ago. The owners from there, I think it was the nephew, moved down there to Cary and opened up a satellite to Faro location, and that pizza was to die for.
I was just there. You tell me this now, a week after I come back from Cary, North Carolina.
Wow.
I didn't know you well enough at the time.
Well, I want to say hello to 5011. 5011 is our Seattle Seahawks fan brother. Good dude. I think you're a dude. I've never crossed that barrier with you. You could be a female. I'd feel the same way. He's been a good, respectable fan. He's stopping in to say hello. We appreciate you. I'm real curious, man. How do you feel about the Jamal? I mean, look, as far as we're concerned, right? What do you think about the Jamal Adams play of late? It seems pretty bad from our angle. And what do you think about the Geno Smith as your kind of the guy holding up the franchise right now? What do you think? If you're still here, 5011, let us know. It'd be really interesting to get a good person, a good Seattle fan's thoughts on this one while we talk about the uniform. So let me show you guys. Let me see this. So if you guys don't know what happened the last little while, Woody Johnson announced that the Jets will be wearing green pants and white jerseys in New England, in Foxborough, and Jets fans lost their minds on Twitter. Number one, I'm not sure if a lot of guys know this. I mean, a lot do, clearly, because they went berserk. But the green pants with the white shirt is the losingest uniform combo in Jets history. There was one time between 2000 and 2011, our record with the green pants and white jersey was like 30 wins and like 160 losses or something like that. And when we had the white pants, white and all green, it was like 60 wins and 20 losses, something like that. Forgive me about the exact numbers, but it's very lopsided. And it's one of those things. It's like, even when we're decent, when they wear the green pants and the white jersey, we tend to lose more than not. And a lot of diehard Jets fans know this. Some people think it's ridiculous, but a lot of the numbers are kept. This is real. So we all kind of jumped on Woody Johnson. And they changed it. They changed the uniforms. The Jets backtrack and then released an update. Woody Johnson's Twitter and Instagram released an update. We're wearing all white in New England, and Jets fan, hey! And Matt O'Leary put out a tweet. It was funny. He said, I am completely confident that the Jets fans bullied Woody Johnson into changing the uniform to the all whites from the green pants. And I feel the same way, because it was just the longest thread. Like, what are you doing? You don't know, blah, 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 blah. Everybody lost their minds. So I made a little reel about it. Let's see if I can get it up here for you guys. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to try to share this with you, and then we'll see how it goes. Share the screen. Do the thing over here. Put that over there. All right. Let's see. We got it. Let me see if I can make it sound. Oh, you guys aren't going to hear it. Hey, hold on.
Hey,
Can you guys hear that?
hey, hey,
Jeremy, can you hear that?
hey, 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 hey,
Can you
I
hear
hear
it?
it.
hey.
Or no? Can you hear it?
I hear it.
You hear it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
but
do it
You,
one more time.
all
Maybe
right. So
play
it's
one
going
more
to,
time.
I'll have to leave it on a couple times so you can see it. But the first one,
Hey, 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 hey,
that's the first
Hey.
one.
hey, 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 hey,
Can you see it?
hey,
It's hard to read. It's hard fast. I'm too old.
hey, 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 hey.
So you can see all the tweets. So that's on my Instagram. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, by all means do. It's GreenBean the Jets fan on Instagram. I make funny reels all the time for you guys. But yeah, so what do you guys think about that? Number one, do you have any feelings on the green pants? And chat, you should let me know too. What are your thoughts on the green pants? What are your thoughts on Woody Johnson changing it after the Jets fans bombarded him on Twitter? What do you think, Adam? Do you think there's any legitimacy here? You think it's just happenstance, or do you think we pushed him around and motivated the change? What do you think?
You know what? I one of the big perceptions around the league is that the Johnsons are very easily influenced, and to me, that reinforced that philosophy completely. That was the biggest thing that I took away from this. I don't care if this team wears green pants, white pants, black pants, or no pants. The bottom line is they're not playing well enough, and they definitely don't play well enough when they play New England. And it's time for that to change. Now, I've got my own feelings on the uniforms. At the end of the day, you know what makes the uniforms? Winning games.
It does.
You know, it's my least favorite combination of the new uniforms is green jersey, green pants. That's my least favorite. Okay. But you know what? If they won the friggin' AFC division, if they clinched the AFC East wearing those, think I care? No, I don't care about that.
I hear you. So you don't think there's any curse?
Lime green disasters. We're not wearing
I
it.
know. Those things are terrible.
Oh,
But you don't think
my
there's
God.
any you don't think there's any bad juju with the green pants white shirt combo?
Zero. No,
Okay.
like back in the day, I like with the old uniforms, I liked the white jersey and green pants combination. I gotta admit, I don't like that look now. I prefer white on white. I prefer white pants over green pants more than anything with this scheme. But I like green on white on white, and the black. The other two, I could see them losing the green pants, and I'd be cool with it.
Gotcha.
But
Jeremy, before your answer, I want to say Jet Life 45 reminds us, hey, the Jets won wearing the all white in Tennessee. Just saying. That is accurate. So, and then the other thing, Boy Green, Paul Esden Jr. is in the chat. What's up, Boy Green? It's good to see you. And he reminds us, we've had over 100 people in here. Right now we have just about 90 and we only have 55 likes. Guys, it's the easiest thing in the world to do, and it's greatly appreciated. Hit that like button. It helps the algorithm, makes YouTube think I'm very, very good content creator. And it gives me nice love and hugs and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very important. If you haven't subbed to the channel, now is the best time to do so. I have a great contest going on. 3 winners. 2 will get a t-shirt of their choice from the GreenBean.com, GreenBeanjetsfan.com merch store. As you can see, Jeremy is modeling one for you right now. That is the Ain't No Happenstance t-shirt in all sizes and shapes. We have women's cuts and everything. We also have the JD Could Give Two Shits t-shirt on there as well, and more being added. But so 2 winners will win a t-shirt of their choice, and 1 grand prize winner will get a t-shirt of their choice and the Ultra Smooth Pack from Manscaped, in addition to some stickers and other stuff from the Green Bean store. So if you haven't subbed, now is the good time to do so. Hit sub here and Full-Time Coaster Tour on YouTube, and you are in the contest. If you want an additional entry, go over to Instagram on GreenBean the Jets fan and follow me there. That will effectively give you an additional entry, and you double your chances on winning one of the great prizes. We're trying to get up to 5,000 subs for my 1-year anniversary. We're about almost 4,100. And so I only need 900 more people to do it. By December 27th, my 1-year anniversary would be really great. That's my goal, 5,000 by 1 year on YouTube. And I would greatly appreciate your support. I already do appreciate your support sincerely. But that's the goal, is 5,000. If you haven't subbed, now's a good time. And like this video, like Boy Green, my good friend, is reminding us. I want to, again, Jeremy, before your answer, I just want to comment on 5011, commented on the Jamal Adams thing. And then we're going to go back and see what you think on the uniforms. But 5011, the Seattle Seahawks fan, says, Jamal's play of late is incredibly concerning. Sure, he hustled and is good on the line of scrimmage, but every other game, he seems to have big mistakes, like huge plays or touchdowns. That is accurate. Now, I saw a second comment. What does he say? Where did it go? He says, oh, there's a few comments. Shit, hold on. All right, 5011's giving us the story. He says, also on Jamal Adams, his lack of ball skills are problematic. Yes, that is a good word. He's dropped 3 or 4 interceptions over the last 10 or 15 games. Yeah, and that's what he did here too, 5011. That was one of the things. I mean, it has become such a massive block in his head. I think as soon as he sees the ball, he completely freaks out. Like, oh my God, because he drops it's not like he's dropping like really incredible catches. He's dropping shit that lands in his chest, hits him in the face, hits him in the hands, all kinds of stuff. So I think it's become one of those things with him. It's just a massive, problem that he's overthinking. But yeah, I'd say that's problematic as well. He says, beyond that, on Jamal Adams, at this point, personally, I'm not listening to anything he has to say until he has 2 or 3 good games in a row. Personally, he seems immature, a great young man, but needs some growth. Yeah. That's funny. I mean, it's a very reasonable, sound take. And that's kind of how a lot of us feel. It's like, look, you can't deny the guy's a good football player. Nobody's going to say he's not a good player, and he plays hard and plays with passion, but he gets into these streaks where he starts to be like, his mouth gets him into problems, but then he has these periods of time where it seems like he messes up in large batches, gets burned, drops a pick, all that kind of stuff. So he says, as far as Seattle signing Jamal's contract, it's bothersome. I don't know how many other average players Seattle could sign for the same money, but Jamal Adams is playing average, and unlike other top-paid defenders, it seems. Yeah, average. What an interesting thing. So they gave him $17.5 million. He is the highest-paid safety in the NFL. And quickly, he says, on Geno Smith, Seattle media believes in him. Average Seattle fan believes in him. And I think he played relatively poorly versus the Steelers. Got sacked 4 times and game-losing fumble. Great young man, though. Yeah, Geno was another one. He was real immature, very rattleable. He would take things personal, get all huffy-puffy. But I think he's settled down since then. I thought he didn't play that bad in the first game when Russell Wilson got injured, but he makes some stupid ass mistakes. You guys remember when he was running from a sack right on our own goal line, and he decided to take the ball and put it around his back. You remember that? He took the football and put it around his back. And what do you think happened there, 5011? You think that one worked out? It didn't work out. He fumbled it, and I think it was a touchdown. I forget how. I'm pretty sure that he fumbled it, and they got a touchdown instead of just a sack and a safety. But, yeah, that's the kind of stuff he does. But, hey, man, I can't say I'm rooting for you because I'm not, but hopefully it turns around and you can at least root for these guys. But, yeah, the Jamal Adams thing, I think it's interesting. Thank you for your take. It's nice to hear someone's take that's level-headed and respectful, not just, thinking with their heart and all that kind of stuff, because Jamal Adams was a good player. A lot of Jets fans were really torn up that, number one, he scorched the earth before he left, and number two, that we traded him in the first place. A lot of people thought that was a big mistake when it happened. So I think it's leveling off a little bit now. But hey, hopefully he can play better for you guys, man. But you're a good dude, and thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it, right? You guys have any thoughts real quick on Jamal Adams? Then we'll get Jeremy's take on the green pants. Any thoughts?
I sent you, it's interesting because even in the line of scrimmage, you remember a couple of weeks ago, I sent you the highlights of the Rams running back
Oh, right.
because in those highlights, you can see Jamal Adams getting taken out of a play, out of running plays, getting beat by like one blocker, like somebody just blocks him away and the running back gets through. And, normally it's like for an average safety, you'd say, okay, they made a good block. But when you're paying $17.5 million and he's supposed to be the Hall of Fame safety, right? Like this great safety, best in the league. I mean, you didn't see that happen to Ed Reed and Troy and back in the days of Ronnie Lott, and like great safeties went through and through tackles. They beat tackles and they made the play. And I just think that sometimes he's like, you could watch just so many plays where it's like you don't even see his number there. He's not like one of those safeties that's all over the place. And for $17.5 million, I want a safety that's all over the place and certainly catches the ball when it's thrown into his helmet.
Right. Ed Reed, Palomalu, like that kind of an impact. And a lot of people think Jamal has that, like that's what he's kind of supposed to be, is that level of impact. Y2K, what do you think about 5011's comments? Again, man, thank you for taking the time to stop by and to share that with us. That's the cool stuff, man. What do you think, Y2K? Any thoughts?
Well, it's like I said in the chat, Jamal Adams is the best safety in the nation, in his imagination.
In the imagination. Wow, I'm the best in the imagination. Now, what did that end up being? That ended up being some sort of tribute to somebody or something like that. I just heard it. I didn't really dig too deep, but what was it?
Yeah,
you guys know?
I didn't either. I heard him say that, then I saw how he played, and the joke basically wrote itself. I think 5011 makes some really good points. We do know, of course, Jamal is a very talented player, very passionate player. Always admired that about him. That said, I wonder if Greg Williams knew how to maximize his talents. I think he recognized he was the exact kind of player that was the player Williams liked to coach. And I don't think any of us thought of it that way. But I think without the likes of without Greg Williams coaching him, he's not the same player anymore.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something to that.
Remember when Greg Williams, he made that joke and Pete Carroll jumped all over it. He said, Jamal Adams is going to be bored over there. And Pete Carroll said, I don't think so. Something like, well, he'll be caught up with winning or something like that. But look, the truth is, while the NFL just may have passed Greg Williams by, I can't really see him getting another job as a defensive coordinator. It's kind of like a relic, but the truth is that he was very, very good at what you just said. He was good at putting his players in places to make plays. He knew how to do that. Obviously, he was around for as long as he was because he had some talent. And I think that Jamal Adams benefited from Greg Williams. Not that Pete Carroll's on a great defensive mind in his own right, because he is, but clearly they're a miss over there. So who knows what'll happen, but I don't know. This Jamal Adams no interception thing it's a big deal at this point. He's never picked off a starting quarterback in his life. He only has 2 picks. Both were against backup quarterbacks in garbage time. One when we were beating the hell out of Detroit, Matt Castle, and the other one was Jared Stidham when they were beating the shit out of us. And Jamal went down there and did the whole showboat thing. We were down like 24 points with a minute left, and he got his dancing in and all that. But those are his only 2 picks. So I feel for you, 5011, at least where that is concerned. Maybe Geno has talent, man. He does. Again, he makes boneheaded mistakes, but he can play well. He can really light it up, man. I was at the game with him in Miami. He had a perfect game, whatever they say it was, like the highest, a perfect quarterback rating. So, and I was pissed because I wanted to lose that game. It was the last game of the year. And I'm like, what, now Geno plays? So anyway, so Jeremy, getting back to the uniforms quickly. We only have a few more minutes tonight. What do you think? Number one, do you buy into the bad luck associated with the green pants and white shirts? And what do you think with this Twitter thing with Woody? How do you take it?
No, that's as far as the colors that they wear in their record, that's just happenstance in my opinion.
Hey.
I'm not a very superstitious kind of person. I think that I think Adam was 100% right on. I think the real story is just the fact that we have an owner that can be influenced by us, like by a reaction on Twitter that can actually will actually sway a decision based on a big reaction from the fans. And I think that's interesting. And I don't know that that's like, in this case, I don't think that's a bad thing, but sometimes that could be a bad thing because sometimes the fans don't know what the hell they're talking about, and I would hate for him to be influenced on like a coach
Right.
hiring or firing a coach or any like a major decision based on what fans think, because we're all way too emotional, most of us, and not enough like behind the scenes knowledge. Like, so we like to do that. We like to think we know. And we see that 5 games in already with LaFleur, right? Everybody knows he's the worst offensive coordinator in the
Worst
world.
we've ever had
in 5 games. So, I would be cautious about him being too influenced, but in this case, I think it's totally cool. I personally like the green on white only because the green top, white bottoms. Only because when I think of guys like in my mind, like Klecko, Gastineau, Freeman McNeil, James Hasty, the guys that I love, Mickey Schuler, for some reason, like if I think about them, they pop up in my head wearing a green Jets jersey with the white pants.
And for me, it's Chad, Curtis, Coles, those guys. Chad is my guy. He always will be my guy. And I think of the green and white. That's always my thought.
That's funny. I think of all whites when I think of Chad. Yes, I do. I also think of all whites. For some reason, Dustin Keller always pops in my mind too. Bray, Dustin Keller, that whole era. I loved it, man. But I love the all whites. I think it's a good switch. It says Carmelo Albori's Way says, even Mosley talked about the all white unis. It definitely impacts how players feel. Feel good, play good. I think that's the real source of the whole thing. The players don't like the green pants. They never have. They don't like it. They don't play well, especially like Watu said. If they're gonna have the green pants, you slap on the green jersey and you make it a whole set, an ensemble. The white and the green doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. And the play, definitely is I forget the word I'm looking for. The play, not responds. The play. What is the word I'm looking for? And the play something.
Develops? I'm not sure exactly where you're going.
Is affected. Something like that. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. So how do I get a shirt? Jet Life 45 says. Jet Life 45 and everybody else, if you'd like to check out the Green Bean merch store, that is at GreenBeanjetsfan.com. Go and check out my new site, man. We just redid it. My wife put in hours and hours. The whole site is created by my wife. Jetnation built it for me initially, and then we did some upgrades, but I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of the site. I love it, love it, love it. I think it's slick and cool. You guys should check it out. And then when you go on this site, you'll see some tabs on the side, like in the middle on the sides and on the top. Merch, click on the merch, scroll through. I got all kinds of cool shit, and I'm adding more all the time as I design them because I'm designing everything myself. It's not that hard, but I'm still designing it. But anyway, that's how you do it. GreenBeanjetsfan.com. Go to there and check out the merch. It's good. Be fun. Again, if you'd like to win some of the merch, all you got to do is be subbed to this channel and subbed to Full-Time Coaster Tour on YouTube. If you'd like an additional entry, follow me on GreenBean the Jets Fan on Instagram. So, guys, we're about to wrap this up. Let's see.
Hours just fine. You made it just fine, I would say.
I know, right? I'm fucking blasting back really strong coffee, man. I made it extra strong because I wasn't feeling it. Now I'm like, now I want to go and edit till 4 a.m, and I'm ridiculous. That's what it is with me. So what do you guys think? Real quick before we leave, we're gonna say our goodbyes. But are you into the green pants with the white shirt? Say yes or no before we go. And Jeremy, what do you got for everybody? You got anything you want to let people know is going on? What do you have coming up?
What do I got coming up? We got, me and Frankie have a little show called Calmness Meets Chaos. That'll be on tomorrow, and we're gonna give away a Green Bean shirt, happenstance shirt when he hits 500 subscribers. We're gonna have a contest and give away a Green Bean shirt, and that only we figured it's only fitting because most of his followers learned about the channel through you, Green Bean.
Amazing.
And it's pretty much the same Jets fam, so we know that's what they will want and they'll love and appreciate.
That's amazing. Thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah.
I'm touched. Seriously, thank you.
And then we have our show on Saturday morning that we're moving time, so people should know that we're switching the time, right? We're moving
that's
back
right.
an hour.
Thank you for reminding me because I forgot about it. So I thank you. You want to tell everybody about it? Go ahead.
Yeah, instead of 10 a.m., it's going to be at 11 a.m. on the East Coast. It's going to be 11 a.m. So we're moving it up an hour, give people a chance to get up, eat breakfast. It's also a little bit, we think, Europe friendly as well. It was just like maybe as they get home from whatever they did in the afternoon before they go out in the evening. So it's better time for them.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to try to make it a little bit more accessible for the European Jets fans that have expressed it's real late to come and hang out with us at night like this. And so this is for them. So if you guys are looking for something to do Saturday mornings, it's now 11 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday morning. And we try to interview guys from all over the world. We've had Ireland. We've had a couple UK so far, Germany. So it's exciting stuff. And I think you guys will have a good time. An hour on Saturday morning. So, and then, please give a sub to Frankie from Flatbush. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's a fascinating channel. All kinds of spreadsheets and stats and predictor bot. And it's really a fun place. I mean that sincerely. I actually watch it in my spare time. So, and that's not always the case. I don't have all that time in the world, but I do watch Frankie and Jeremy over at Frankie from Flatbush on YouTube. So please go over there and support those fellas as well. You guys know Frankie's right here in the chat. Man. So Y2K, what do you got cooking, buddy? Anything you want to let anybody know about?
To find Virginia Jets fans, just type it right in on Facebook, and feel free to join the group. Even if you don't live in Virginia, it's still a great community. We'd love to have you in. And one of the things that I do, usually on Saturday mornings, I post a 5 or 6 minute preview video for the Virginia Jets fans group. And now I'm starting to post those onto YouTube. So Y2K99 is the channel, and I usually have those up on Saturday, just a little 5-6 minute thing. And I look forward to seeing you this Sunday. It's going to be fantastic.
That's right. Don't forget, if you're anywhere in the Virginia area, Maryland, North Carolina on the eastern side, please come and hang out at the Virginia Jets Fan Club this Sunday for the game. We're going to be live streaming on location at the Virginia Jets Fan Club headquarters at AJ. I forget I'm so burnt. What is it called again?
No, you had it. AJ. Got it.
And I'm going to go ahead when we're done here. I'm sorry. Go on. Say it again.
Yeah. It's literally AJ Gators. Fried alligator is actually on the menu, so they got some pretty some good stuff there.
AJ Gators in North Norfolk, Virginia, right by the battleships and all that sort of stuff down there. So if you're around, we'd love to see you. Just let us know you're coming, so we know who you are and all that, man. So that's what we're going to be doing. But guys in the chat, thank you so much. You're the absolute best. Enjoy the rest of the game. Enjoy the rest of the night. We will see you guys soon. And here you go with a little happenstance goodness.
There with high pressure in control. Man, that looks great.
Jets!
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. 78 degrees, Jets football, and we're winning. That's what's going on today. That's why everybody's so psyched. This isn't no happenstance. This is a guarantee, just like Joe Namath said. See that?
There are few things in life you cannot put a price on. Loyalty, tradition, fierce passion. Today is a gigantic family reunion because finally, they're back.
A violent vertical edge setter.
I see some gas off the hips. Get that mindset to put your shoulder on somebody.